Did he literally see something coming? It's coming true to such an extent that you want to think, how the hell did he know this?
Welcome back to the Gunners Club. You're here with Gunner, of course with Seuss, and we're so glad you're with us. 1984 is not just a work of literature. 1984 is real, and let me explain. Recently I've been reading a sequel of sorts to George Orwell's magnum opus, I think 1984. It's called Julia. Actually, it's called Julia 1984, and the character we remember from the first book, she goes about her lives, and it's through her life that we understand the society that she's in. You might remember 1984 was written about a fictitious England, what they called Ingsoc. Ingsoc is English socialism. Now, this was written by Orwell with basically an eye and ear open to what was going on in Eastern Europe and the spread of communism, and also the spread of communism through there across to Asia. But many of the things which they predicted, and many of the things which he said would be used as a means of control and surveillance, have come true today.
Haven't they, though? You only have to look at China. You only have to look at England. My God.
Oh, look, now, I've been across a bridge in China, and the number of times I was photographed there, because each photograph had a flash accompanying it, I felt like the paparazzi were there that day. It was quite incredible.
Yeah, you felt quite important, didn't you?
But think about this. Every time that you open your browser, every time you make an inquiry, every time you put a request through a government department for service, there's a record made. I was lucky enough to go to the Communist Museum in Budapest, where they had a lot of the old monuments, statues and things like that, you know, models of old Trabant cars where the panels were so thin it was like it was made from cardboard. Actually, I believe it was made from cardboard. And they had a perpetually running film which showed the life of the everyday people in East Germany. Now, East Germany, if you can say this is an accolade, would have won the award for the most spied upon people in the history of Europe.
Oh, well, the Stasi, yeah.
And the records which they still have today, and you can put your application in and get your government records if you do live there, is astonishing. But let me tell you, compared to today, what is available on you, this is mere junior foreplay. That's what it is. Julia lived in Ingsoc, and she lived in basically the area of Oceania, a period of Greater Oceania, which was perpetually at war. But as the slogan went, war is peace. Now think about the West today. We're constantly either in war, preparing for war, coming off war, or fighting a proxy war. Now, as an Australian, we've just recently sent 40-odd Abrams tanks to the Ukraine, together with billions of dollars and Bushmaster vehicles. We're fighting a proxy war. We're identifying with a proxy war. You know, to have peace, you have to prepare for war, etc. Now, what the party would do, Ingsoc would do, is make contrasting statements. They call it doublethink. You'd have to try to reconcile two unreconcilable things together. War is peace, for example, because when you're doing that, you're doubting yourself. You're doubting and also handicapping your mental process. And whilst you're doing that, you're not having a political thought. But imagine if the state went one further. Remember the idea of East Germany with the monitoring of your telephone lines. It was never doubted that when you picked up the phone,
there was someone listening. Yeah.
And the world of Big Brother is very similar, where essentially people are constantly monitored by a two-way television. Now, it's not as though there was just a television in every room. In fact, there was in every room, including the rooms where you worked, the rooms where you slept, and also even the washrooms. So you'd have to be very discreet to try and change or wash yourself. And always aware of the fact that there is someone probably on the other side monitoring you. And everywhere there'd be the handsome figure of a dark-haired man in his 40s, known as Big Brother, saying, "Big Brother is watching you." And Big Brother was always watching you.
Yep.
Makes me think, not only would they control the way that you behave by monitoring you, they'd control the way that you behave by changing the language that you speak. Now, the idea was there would be a new language called Newspeak, and that would be adopted by the party members. You know, that would be seen in the streets as the one who wear the denim overalls. That meant you were a member of the party, not a high-ranking member, but you were a member nonetheless. If you weren't a member, then you were a prol. Now, prol is a particularly nasty word. Basically means an offspawn, an offspring in Latin, because you had no capital, you had no skills, you had no party membership or affiliation.
That's like in days of Mao. Everyone wore the Mao-style uniform.
And had the book.
Yeah.
And had the book as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, but it's almost, I mean, we know it's a story of fiction, but did he literally see something coming? It's coming true to such an extent that you want to think, how the hell did he know this?
Well, George Orwell certainly knew it because his brother was an eugenicist, and so he was aware of what the plan was and what was going to be. But let's say that you could curtail the way that people think. You could do that by creating a language which removes all nuance. So have a look, for example, at the word for something like good. If something is very good, it's plus good. If it's extremely good, it's double plus good. If it's bad, it's ungood. Now, I do actually speak a language which works basically the same way called Esperanto. If something's good, it's bon. If it's very good, it's bonega. If it's extremely bad, it's malbonega. It's essentially going on the same script as that. But further to that, what they'll do is it'd make any political thought or speech almost unpronounceable. It would effectively be tiresome to the ears, cumbersome to the mouth, and people will grow tired of it very quickly. If you want to control people, you have to control the things that are important to them, so their relationships, and the most important relationship a person has is with their significant other. So you can do that by monitoring a relationship together, actively discouraging it. Actively discouraging sex, saying it's unnatural, and in the book of Julia, of course, there was the move towards artificial insemination, removing that as well. If you have a significant other you place before the government or the party, well, that's not constructive to the party. If you restrict sex, then that urge, that impulse they have becomes sublimated. Sublimated means that the urge doesn't go, it just shows its head in another way. It's like violence is often a sublimated symptom of another desire. And what that would effectively mean is that people wouldn't stop having sex. There'd be clandestine romances, same-sex relationships in areas without a TV screen, for example. It would still continue. But you're trying to control people and trying to control people more. Now, to what ends? Well, it's interesting when I used to study statistics that I'd know that if I was able to do timecast, time series, forward forecasting, that I'd be able to know within reason what to expect from a large population, a large data size. But to know what a lot of people are doing is very easy. To know what one person is going to do is damn impossible. But have a think about this. The Australian government is wanting to put itself as one of the monitors of ethics of AI. Now, I've just come off a lot of lectures regarding AI, and people talk mostly about ethics as the most important thing being the bias of the data that you enter into it. Well, I'd say it's not. I would say it's the people who are controlling the information and the predictive forecasting that they're making from this. This might sound a bit strange, but already Argentina has created an artificial intelligence unit for surveillance and for prediction of crime. Already what we see in Philip K. Dick's book, Minority Report, is coming true. Recently, the University of Chicago has come up with predictive modelling for that very same reason, the prediction of crime. You know, book him Dano before they've actually even committed the crime. This might sound strange,
That's
but
right.
have a think about this. Do you remember that episode of Breaking Bad where Walter White was shopping in, I think it was, a Walmart? And he came across another man with his boy, and they were shopping and buying precursors to make methamphetamine. Well, he couldn't help. He doubled back and he talked to them and he gave him a warning. Don't be an amateur and don't buy all your stuff in the one place. Imagine if you're online. If you think that your browser history is a secret, you really aren't living in reality. If you think that your search inquiries aren't public knowledge, well, think again.
Yeah, every Google search.
That your inquiries made to government departments aren't known by the government, why would you not feel that way? If you think that your emails are not constantly combed, what actually are you thinking? So imagine if you did, for example, have a shopping cart, a virtual shopping cart, or a virtual shopping cart of inquiries regarding precursors for something. I'm using the Walter White Breaking Bad example. Well, how easy is it then for a predictive model to predict what your heart's desire is and what it is that you're actually looking at doing? I worry about surveillance. Do me a favour. You've probably got your phones on you. Get into your ChatGPT and just type this in. How many surveillance cameras are there in Greater London? Now, the result will be shocking for two reasons. One, it won't give you an exact number. How can it? But the range will be so broad to show that the magnitude is incredible. Secondly, the bottom figure will also astonish you. This is a world which we're in. Now, I say to you, when I was young and I was reading Big Brother and the lovers would go off to the forest and there might be a stray microphone that could pick up the tryst that they were having, I thought, this is implausible. We are now carrying with us microphones and cameras everywhere that we go.
Which can be remotely activated, believe it or not, whether you like it or not.
Now, people are fighting over themselves to bring in bigger televisions for every single room. The living room, the man cave, the bedroom, and even cradling in their hands in the bed at night, the mobile phone, which again has got the microphones, the videos, and the inputs of all of the requests and your heart's desires, and not just your Christmas list, which are there. Now, I thought to myself this was implausible. 1984. If you don't think we're already there, I'm going to use the Big Brother expression. Brother, 1984 is already real.
You're being watched, you're being monitored, and where it's going to go from here is actually pretty bloody scary.
Well, I mean, you look to China for the next step is basically the social score that you have. If you don't have the right social score,
well, that's already there.
The
that's not coming. That's already in place.
Just not with us yet.
Yet. Exactly. But that's what they're working on. That's what they're going to be bringing in.
If you like free thought, if you like the way we think, if you want to hit us up for more adventures, like, subscribe, join us for more adventures. You're always welcome.
If it's controversial, you'll hear it from us.
We'll see you soon.
Catch you on the next one.